Okay, welcome back to another episode, and another great tip I'm going to give you today is how to buy HOA foreclosures at the auction. So today I'm looking at the auction. There is about 15 minutes until the auction starts, and I want to take this case study and I want to show you two HOA foreclosures that are going to be foreclosing today on a property. And I also want to show you which one is a good one to focus on and which one is going to be a disaster if somebody buys it. So I already marked those properties here, as you can see on my spreadsheet. One of them is in green and one of them is in red. And the auction is coming in about 15 minutes. So I'm going to show you exactly, okay, how to avoid making a mistake buying an HOA foreclosure and what is a good purchase, okay, what you should look for. Okay, so now I just want to take you to the auction website, and as you can see, there are 17 sales today. And one of my students asked me, how can you identify who is foreclosing? So in my Excel spreadsheet, I always have the plaintiff name, and I know if it's a bank or if it's an HOA, or sometimes it can even be timeshares. You see, this is a timeshare over here, timeshare judgment. On this property, vacation break resorts. This is a timeshare. This is a big no-no to buy at the auction. You never buy timeshares. So you have all sort of parties who can come and foreclose on the property, including the HOA, of course, because they are parties of interest to that property. So if an HOA come and forecloses, and you can see they're only foreclosing for $7,000 here and for $15,000 here, how do you know if it's a good purchase or not? How do you know if you should buy it or not? All right, so the first thing I tell people when they go and look for HOA foreclosures is to see if the bank already started their foreclosure as well, okay? Because if you're gonna buy an HOA foreclosure and there is a bank that is foreclosing at the same time, the bank might be in its last foreclosure stages, and it will be able to eliminate your interest, and you would basically lose everything you paid for that property, including the possession to that property. So how can you basically buy the property and keep the possession and fight the bank for years while renting the property, which is the ultimate goal for people who are buying HOA foreclosures? They are getting a deed to the property, they're getting possession, they're getting ownership to the property, but they're still subject to the other liens that may exist on the property. So checking for other liens and other litigations is going to be a key point when you buy an HOA foreclosure. And I'm going to go ahead right now and I'm going to show you how I do my title search. As you can see, there is a case here coming 17610, and this is the one, okay? It's in Sunrise, and in my spreadsheet I have my property appraisal button where I can click and I can go to that property and I can see more information about that property, and I can see some photos if I want to. It's a huge house. I can kind of understand what it's worth. It's assessed by the county for $300,000. So I would say it's probably worth $350,000. Last sold was $340,000, 1,893 square footage. And if I compare it to this, it's a bit smaller. So I would say $350,000, $340,000, $320,000, something around that price. That's what it's worth. I'm not worried about its value so much because I'm buying the HOA lien. I'm not buying the property. This is a very, very important piece of information that I must tell you. I'm buying the possession to that property. I'm buying my position, basically. I'm positioning myself in the title as the owner, subject to the other problems, call it this way. So I want to know what other problems exist on that property before I can even purchase that. So I have to do some due diligence. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run title search. As you can see, in the property appraisal, it tells you when the property was bought. So in October 2001, this property was bought. And I'm going to have to check the chain of title from 2001 up to today to understand what happened with that property. What are the liens and encumbrance that may exist on that property. So I can see that Mr. Richard owns that property since 2001, since October. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take his name, I'm just going to copy it, and I'm going to try to go to the public recording department to do my title search. And what I can do there is I can just put his name and I can start my title search since 2001. And the first thing I want to look for before I'm going to waste my time with this property and just check all kind of things that not going to make even a difference if I'm going to choose to buy it or not. So the first thing I'm going to check to see if I'm going to pursue with my other searches is I'm going to see if there is another lease pendants filed by the bank. If the bank already started their foreclosure. If the bank already started their foreclosure, it doesn't really matter what price I'm going to buy it, because I'm not going to be able to fight the bank. I'm not going to be able to actually intervene to that lawsuit and file my motions, and that's what I want to do. When I buy the property before the bank started the lease pendants, before they started the foreclosure, and I position myself on title as the owner, then when the bank comes to foreclose, they're going to have to name me as something called indispensable party. Meaning that the lender cannot clear title without naming me in the lawsuit, right? Because I'm a party of interest to that property. If I buy the HOA position and I get title and I get a deed and it's recorded, when the bank starts the foreclosure, they have to do title searches as well and see who are the parties of interest. And if I'm one of those parties of interest, they have to name me in the foreclosure. And once they name me in the foreclosure, I can file all kind of motions and I can stall the case, and eventually I can do a short payoff agreement with the lender. It's something that I do when I own property. So I'm gonna first document I'm gonna see if there is a lease pendants filed against that person, and then I'm gonna see what's the status with that, if that's still active, if that's still going on, what's the stage, how far is it going. So as you can see, I can see the last lease pendants here was filed in 2013 by the bank, and then you can see the HOA filed their own lease pendants, right? This is the same case that the HOA is foreclosing today. Basically, they filed their own lease pendants. If I click on here, I'm gonna see that's a case 16-10424, and if I go to the auction, actually they filed another lawsuit, so that's an old one. Let me see. Let's put it by date. All right. They filed one in 14. They filed one in 13. All right. So what I'm interested right now to look at is to see if the bank, okay, this lease pendants over here, it's still going on. You see it's referencing the property. It started in 2013. That's the last lease pendants, that was the last foreclosure that was filed against this property. Okay, so I want to see if that case is still active. And if I go here, I can take the case number and I can go to another website, which is the Clerk of Court's docket. And if I put that case number over here and I'm gonna search for it, I will see that Bank of New York was trying to foreclose, okay, in 2013, and then the case got dismissed in 2014. So basically, according to the searches we just done, okay, right now, at this moment, the bank hasn't started a foreclosure yet against this person. Meaning that if I'm gonna buy this property today, I'm gonna be able to get title to it, to get possession to it, and then when the bank comes and file their foreclosure, I'll be able to fight them at court. And I'm going to show you how I do it with one of my properties, because I've been buying 150 properties, 150 HOA liens since 2009, and we are kind of expert in defending those cases, doing foreclosure defense. And I'll show you one of the cases, actually the house I live here today, I bought it as the HOA lien in 2014, and I will show you the case and how I fight the bank basically to buy more time staying here. While I don't pay my taxes, I don't pay a mortgage, the only thing I pay here is the HOA dues. So I'm living in a house that is worth about $800,000 on the beach here in Florida, but I just bought this property for $27,000 in 2014, and since then I keep fighting the bank. And I'm gonna show you this case later on as also another advanced case study of how it looks like 4 or 5 years down the road after you buy an HOA. So right now I know there is no lease pendants file against that property. So the second question I'm going to ask myself, okay, so the bank hasn't started a foreclosure, and the HOA is coming today. If I buy this property, I will be indispensable party. When the bank comes, they're gonna have to name me in the foreclosure, and I'm gonna have to fight them. I'm not gonna be entitled to any credit problems, to any kind of like bad scores or credit or any issues like that, because I didn't sign the promissory note. And I didn't sign anything to do with the loan document. So even if I bought this property and the bank came and foreclosed on me, right? I'm not gonna be, nothing is not gonna affect my credit, okay? Especially, and most importantly, when you buy with an LLC or with a company name, not under your own name, okay? So I just wanna make it clear. So the second thing I want to say is, okay, so this property, no bank foreclosure yet, but how much is owed against that property more or less? What is the mortgage? What is the last mortgage? I want to see if there is equity as well, right? We check it's worth about $320,000 and maybe he owes only $200,000. So that even makes it more an equity deal, not just getting a position. It also makes it an equity deal, which is even more interesting because you can buy the position and you can satisfy the debt that it's owed from selling the properties and then using the proceeds from the buyer to satisfy this debt. That's another way you can leverage yourself on other people's debt. You buy their position, okay, they still have debt on the title, okay, but if that debt is less than what the property is worth, then you can always go to the market, find a buyer, okay, who's gonna buy this property. At the closing, you're gonna satisfy everybody's debt, and whatever is left, you're gonna take as a profit as an investor. Same thing all sellers are doing when they exchange contracts and assignments, but this is different because you're really getting a possession to the property and you have the full control and the decision, okay, when you market the property. You're not dependent on any other parties or any time frame, basically. So the only thing you're dependent on is your valuation. If you do a good evaluation, there is a huge chance that you're gonna buy properties with equity and keep them for years. So right now I've searched the mortgages right now, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sort it by date, and I'm gonna see that the first mortgage was taken was 2011 when you bought the property, which makes sense. Then it was released in 2004, and then you can see immediately there was another mortgage in 2004. For $209,000. That mortgage was released as well, and in 2006 he took another mortgage, and let's see if that's mortgage. No, that's not the one. I think that's the one as well. In 2006 he took it. Yeah, sorry, here you go. In 2006, that's the last mortgage he took. So that's the outstanding mortgage on that property, and that's for $269,000, right? And if he defaulted, and interest and accumulation of attorney fees and all that stuff, false insurance, the judgment can go up to even $350,000, and that's not going to be an equitable deal. And you can see the bank that was foreclosing before was foreclosing on that same mortgage, and then he stopped foreclosing, and we don't know how long the borrower stopped paying the mortgage. So I would assume that there is no equity in this deal, especially when you can clearly see that he took a mortgage for $270,000 and default on that mortgage. If it was $100,000, maybe we can check for equity. But here, we're not gonna find equity. So the only thing we are looking for is we're looking to get to position ourselves on that property, to buy the title and then basically rent it out, recover your expenses and keep it for years to come. So what we found out is there is no equity in this deal, and the lease pendants that was filed in 2013 was released. It was dismissed. The way we found out about it is we checked the clerk of court docket, which gives us all the information that we need. Who are the parties to the foreclosure? It gives us the last filing, and you can see that the answers of the defendant, if you want to, what did he file back in the days, etc., etc., what happened with that case. This case was dismissed very, very quickly, and there is no pending litigation against that property, and that's the most important thing I'm trying to convey here when buying an HOA foreclosure.